Hello, I'm Matt Ritter, and welcome to another edition of Spotlight On with special guest Emily Hampshire, the star of Schitt's Creek on Pop, the star of 12 Monkeys on Sci-Fi, and the upcoming film The Death and Life of John F. Donovan. So stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hello, we are back with Spotlight On. I am your host, Matt Ritter, and with special guest Emily Hampshire. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
We are very excited to have you. I got to be honest, I was super stoked about Schitt's Creek because I'm a huge Eugene Levy and Catherine O'Hara fan. But then I binged 12 Monkeys, and now I'm more excited about that.
It's hard to, like, what's kind of difficult about both of them is that they're equally brilliant in completely different ways, so...
It's such a trip to be on. Yeah. I mean, I would say it's rare for an actor to be simultaneously on two ends of the spectrum as far as you are right now.
Yeah. I mean, it is kind of bipolar, but it feels great.
Yeah.
I like to work, and I do Schitt's Creek from April till June, and then I have, like, a week to maybe go to Miami.
Yeah.
And then I do 12 Monkeys right after that till Christmas.
So it's like comedy season and then psychopath time.
Yeah. But I didn't know, like, when I first did Schitt's Creek, I hadn't gotten 12 Monkeys yet. And so we were shooting Schitt's Creek, which is... It's a comedy, it's a half hour, it's with, like you said, Eugene and Catherine, like the nicest people in the world. It's so easy. I sit behind a desk and just be sarcastic. It's the easiest job in the world.
There's something to be said, right, about hotel clerk job as like a really cush acting gig.
And a great, like, job to have in the... Yeah, but then I went to 12 Monkeys and I had no idea. Like, our shooting schedule is average 18 hours. And it's just so much more, I guess, playing a crazy person. I don't realize at the end of the day how exhausting it is, because when you're in it, it's all adrenaline and I'm having so much fun. But then at the end of each day, I'm just like wiped.
You're spent. I was going to ask you about that. So in prep, I mean, I think a lot of people want to know what do you do in preparation to play somebody with that sort of visceral intensity? I mean, like, what is your process for finding that character or, like, getting to that place? Do you have to, like, go do some crazy stuff beforehand?
I wish I want to,
sacrificial, like, stuff?
Yeah, I want to say that I've got to, like, work really hard at it and stuff, but actually, I think this says something not so good about me. When I went for my first wardrobe fitting in 12 Monkeys. I went in there and I was just, like, being myself, and the wardrobe woman went to the creator of our show, Terry Metalis, and was like, she's perfect. And then I put on Facebook and, like, with my friends who know me saying, I got the Brad Pitt part in 12 Monkeys, and all people who know me well are like, that's the most perfect part for you. So
you were like, wait, so you're saying that all of you already thought I was a sociopath? That's what you're telling me?
But the truth is, I actually didn't, like, what I love about Jennifer Goines is I didn't ever really see her as crazy. I feel like, to me, the crazy people are a lot of the times the truth sayers, because they don't have those kind of social inhibitions that we have. Like, I'm not crazy.
That we normals
have. And that's what I loved about Jennifer, and she was kind of in the writing, is it just gets to the heart of things.
And I think crazy is an oversimplification, right? It's like if you're just writing a one-word description, but really, I feel like she's highly intelligent, first of all.
Yeah.
And manipulative. Clearly, you can see it at times. They've been throwing us little, bones here and there throughout the season. But also, it's just, more than crazy. It's like it seems like she's seeing just more things than people, you know?
Okay,
in a weird way.
Because this is exciting for me, because I can't, like, it's so hard to talk about 12 Monkeys because there's so many spoilers and stuff.
God,
but
please.
What is so great that you say that, because this coming season, you find out that Jennifer, her crazy might not just be crazy. She is connected to the mythology of this show in a much more profound way than I or anyone I think could have imagined. So it's just a constant surprise, these scripts. And so yes, she's not just crazy.
And I also, to me, it's hard. You know, a show like this, there's so much stuff going on. I always fight the urge to. It's like as a viewer, like, do I want to know? Do I want to be able to figure it out, or do I want to just like take it in? You know, I mean, for you, do you know already how it's going to play out, or you don't know, like how all this fits together until you get the scripts?
Well, especially with 12 Monkeys, with Jennifer, like every script is a new Jennifer, which is the greatest gift of a role.
Yeah.
Like she's constantly, I think, role playing and trying to figure out who she is in the world, and therefore each new script we get is a new incarnation of her. But I, like, when we first started the show, if I'm being honest, which I probably shouldn't be, but like I don't understand time travel.
Oh God, it's so difficult.
I don't understand.
I went onto like a Reddit. If you accidentally go into a Reddit hole to try and figure it out, you'll lose about 20 hours and you'll be no closer to figuring it out.
Yeah, but
you know why? Because it doesn't work currently, so nobody knows how to do it.
No, but
like if these people really knew how to do it, we would have time travel.
Yeah, but there are so many. Like it is, you need to be kind of a genius.
Oh my God.
The creator of our show, Terry Metalis, is kind of a genius, and therefore he was able to sort of explain it to me and drew this diagram and everything, because I was trying
a lot of trees,
lots of
this one's a dead end.
It's how I do long division.
You in 2015 by 80.
Yes,
it's like the Back to the Future thing. You know, I remember as a kid growing up, like there was always people being like, "Oh, you can't do that
because he hasn't jumped yet."
Yeah, and then I watched this show and I'm like, I'm not even going to go down that road of trying to figure. I'm just like, I'll take it on your word that time travel's real.
That it works. Don't.
And like, if you put two watches together, things happen.
But the people who can't, like the fans who know this stuff, I was gonna say, know this stuff, really are like, they just. It's intimidating because they know more than we do about the show, and so you have to make sure it's accurate, and they really do.
There's a world of people out there that know how 12 Monkeys works.
Yeah,
you know what
and
I mean?
therefore I want to do a good job.
Yeah, you want to be like, I'm following the world of people who actually know how 12 Monkeys works, which is fans who know it better than everybody except like the creator. There's like the creator of the show, and then there's like a couple thousand people who have figured out how time travel works within your 12 Monkeys, and you're like, all right, I trust these people.
Yeah,
you know, I want to do right by the 12.
What is great about the show is that it is such a puzzle, and I think it's so satisfying to those fans too, as well as the people like me who don't really get it on that deep level. The relationships and the characters, like this season I get to play myself a lot at 65, so I play future Jennifer, and
that's so cool.
This season, and like, when do you get to do that?
That's really cool. I was going to say too, I think it's pretty rare as a female actress to get to play. I mean, we're getting more of them now. I think it's awesome that we're getting to a place where, you know, an actress can play like this, you know, like just feral animal at times. You know, you saw it a little bit with Jennifer Jason Leigh and The Hateful Eight, and like Angelina Jolie and Gia. But it must have been really like cool to feel like, hey, I'm doing this thing not a ton of actresses get to do.
No, I do feel really lucky in the parts I get, and I've actually thought a lot about it, because I do get this a lot when I'm interviewed or whatever, that I realize I am super fortunate in the roles I get, even before these two shows, the films I've done in Canada. I just get these amazing parts, and I think it followed a bit of a trajectory in my life that, like, I started acting when I was like 14.
Yeah, let's talk about that. I want to hear about the career trajectory.
Okay. And when I started, I was your typical I think I was like a pretty young girl, and so I got your typical girlfriend parts or the young daughter in peril. And then I did this movie. Then I think I was like around 18 or something, and I started putting on a bit of weight, and I was like not that cute anymore. and I got this part in a movie actually with Catherine O'Hara, which this was like in 2000. It was a movie called The Life Before This, directed by Jerry Chiccariti, who's one of our directors on Schitt's Creek. Canada's very incestuous.
Yeah, that little CTV crew that have stayed together.
And I played a fat actress in the movie, and they put me in a fat suit. But at the time, I was also starting to feel like one inside. And I remember this moment where I realized, like, oh, I have to be funny. If I'm going to be that girl, I have to be funny. And that from that point on, I started to get a lot more character roles. And that, I think, really, in retrospect, like at the time...
So the message is become unattractive for a minute so that people don't hand you shit in life. So people aren't just making you think that you're amazing all the time. And you go, shit.
I look at some of my like beautiful friends, or even like, gosh, what's her name? Those great actors who are just stunningly beautiful, I think sometimes have a harder time too, because they're written off a bit sometimes.
Absolutely.
Michelle Pfeiffer, like, she's a great actress. She also looks like that. I'm sure there's some hurdles with that.
Poor her.
Yeah, it's real hard to be.
No, but I know what you're saying.
Yeah,
I mean, for sure.
But in retrospect, I can look back at that period of time, and it really gave me an advantage on getting better parts as I got older, because I think people saw some of the work I did and then gave me other parts. And then especially with like going from Schitt's Creek doing like that kind of comedy to 12 Monkeys, which is essentially a drama kind of show, to get that.
Do you feel like did you do the improv route? Were you part of that Canada improv scene or any of that?
No, I didn't. I'd love to, but no, I did my first movie in Montreal, and then I moved to Toronto like right at the wrap party of that movie, because I was 16 and Toronto was the place where it was Hollywood North, and I wanted to be an actress, and so I moved there and just started getting jobs, getting work.
Yeah, and so you had some, I looked at your IMDb pages. Do you know how many credits you have on IMDb?
No, did you count?
No, I didn't count them. They have a number at the top. That's like psycho stuff. Like, I don't have that much free time, man. Take a guess. Let's see if you come close.
I don't know. 50?
72.
Really?
You got 72 credits on IMDb.
Wow.
That's like already an amazing career, and you're just getting started.
Wow, it does feel like it's my life. Like, whenever somebody asks me to remember something, I sometimes, and this is quite pathetic, I sometimes look at my IMDb to remember when that movie was, and then I know what happened. It's sort of like a
photograph sometimes that helps you remember. You're like, oh, where was I here? It's nice that actors have a catalog of where they were. Oh, 2006, I was in Canada. Shooting that movie. I wanted to ask you, you've worked with so many great actors. You actually had a chance to work with Alan Rickman.
Yeah.
What was that like?
God, I mean, Alan, we worked together on this movie called Snowcake, and I had like 5 days on that movie. It was with Alan Rickman and Sigourney Weaver, and my part in that movie was the first 10 minutes where I spend in a car with him, and he, from the minute I met him until he died recently, he remained my friend, mentor, would just like call me. At very least, I heard from him like once every 2 months to just check in and see how I am. And if he was in town for a premiere, he'd invite me. If I was in New York and my little movie was showing at Tribeca, he would come.
Unbelievable.
To the audience, sit in the front. And Sigourney was that way too. Alan, I kept up a relationship a lot more, but they were both so... it actually was like I went to therapy a bit for like, why is he so nice to me?
Why are they doing this? There's got to be something going on.
Yeah.
Nobody can be this nice.
And what I realized actually, sadly, after he died, when I was reading all the people who knew him, what they said, that was just Alan.
That was just
I so narcissistically thought it must be something I'm doing that he's so
that's
nice.
so great that somebody could make you feel like he's doing something to make you feel special, and turns out that's how he made everybody feel.
Yeah, and that's
such a beautiful thing.
It is, and such a thing to pass on, because immediately after that, I just felt this urge to be better like that, to be like, I right away went to like my emails, got back to people who I hadn't, called people I hadn't, and in speaking to friends of mine who knew him, they did the exact same thing. It makes you want to rise up to that kind. Me too.
I do. I think it was Kevin Spacey. I was watching him on one of those, like Inside the Actors, and he's like, when you make it, you just have to send the elevator back down. You just have to.
That's a great saying, right?
I love that. And it's like, obviously Alan Rickman lived like that. And I just love hearing stories like that.
And
like
had time for everyone. Like, how do you, whenever you think
but
like you've got to
it doesn't take that much, right?
Doesn't.
It's like you send an email, you throw a phone call, like you said, it was once every couple months, and it's like, that was so meaningful.
So, yeah. I mean, especially to a young actor starting. I remember when I first moved to LA, I just told him I'm moving to LA, and he set me up with like people to be my friend.
That's great. Alan Rickman friend service. I like that. We just found out that there was an Alan Rickman friend locator. Yeah. Was it other Canadians? Was it like we got?
No, just friends of his from New York.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, would you say that was kind of like your first big break then? That movie?
Yeah, that was...
Because you were nominated for an award.
I was, which is weird, because I'm like, literally, I'm 10 minutes in that movie. But
you know what? What's his name won that award for Little Miss Sunshine for 12 minutes of work, too.
I guess it's in good company.
Yeah, there's been a few. So.
But yeah, that was... I would consider, I had a few Canadian movies that went to TIFF and had that experience for a bit, but I would say Snowcake was the film, like we opened in Berlin, and it was with such huge stars, and they really... It's even when I think back, they've so brought me into that. Like I said, I'm a really small thing in that movie, and they took me under their wing, and so that definitely did start something for me, I think.
Yeah, and now here we are, 10 years later. I would say that, no, it's crazy. I would say, you're having a moment here. Does it feel like that?
What's weird is I finally feel like whatever moment is happening now, I'm so ready for it and comfortable with it, because it doesn't feel like, because I've been doing this for so long.
Earned.
Yeah, you know what? I can actually, and I know why I feel very it's actually earned, because before I got Schitt's Creek, I had maybe the worst year of my life, and I hadn't worked in a year, and since I've been working since I was a kid, I've never had a job. I went to
been a working
high school.
Actor.
Yeah, I have no special skills.
Right, you're like, if I have a year where I'm not working, I have a problem.
Yeah.
I do not want to drive an Uber.
I don't even know how to drive. Like, it's that bad. The only job I've ever had skills for is I did a movie where they gave me 2 days of cashier training.
Oh my God.
And so I have that, and I can
So
pretendy
type.
type.
I may have to go into a Starbucks.
Yeah, but it was also just like, it was just a terrible year, and I had just gotten divorced, and I had to move out of my apartment, and then I got Schitt's Creek, and I put my stuff in storage, and I went to move to Toronto, and it's so interesting to me. I don't know if this is ironic, but a little ironic that Schitt's Creek is the thing that totally
picked
my career. Is that the definition? I'm always confused if I'm being like Alanis.
Right. Yeah. I don't know if we're getting that right. Yeah. So the worst year of your life, you landed a role in something called Schitt's Creek. I think that's irony.
That became the best. That's irony, right?
I think
we're gonna get lots of
everybody's
people are like, you guys are dumb.
You guys are not smart people. That's not irony. Well, we're trying.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever it is, it's funny. If it's not irony, that's pretty funny. And so you must have been super psyched when you got that call.
Yeah, I mean,
Especially
also,
since you're saying this was the worst year. I mean, everybody would be psyched getting a call saying, hey, you're going to be in this show with these huge titans.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I don't want them to know this at the time when I was doing my deal, but I would have taken anything. And
so can't renegotiate now.
To get something where what a gift, like to work with Eugene and Catherine and Chris Elliott. But that also kind of snowballed this. Then I auditioned for 12 Monkeys and I got that, and so I just stayed in Toronto, and then things just kept happening. And what felt really good about that was before that year, I'd always wanted things to happen that I felt weren't happening yet. Like I wasn't successful enough, and I was
like, how were you measuring that? What was your measure? I was
measuring that success now I look back in a really wrong way. When I was 16, I was like, well, I need to be a star by the time I'm 17 or I'm over.
That word is a brutal word,
right?
To define anything in this world.
Absolutely. And I think what it really took was, what's great about Canada also is that you get to, I got to be the lead in movies that nobody saw. So I got to work. And here a lot of the time you're the lead in a movie and you become a huge star, or you're doing commercials, and it's hard to just be a jobber, I think, or not as easy as it is in Canada. And so I have gotten to hone my craft for years, and be able to do even the side of things like festivals and stuff, like learn how to do that, because that's, I swear to God, walking down a red carpet is a skill you need to learn. Because I used to think like, I just want to get to the finish line. Like,
did you have some awkward red carpet moments early in your career?
Well, yeah, it's really awkward when
not knowing who to where to even look, that kind of stuff.
And especially when you're not known early on, to be on a red carpet where they don't want to take your picture.
Right.
Like, I don't want to. I don't want to force people to take. But it was just, it's like it's humiliating. But then to learn the business of that stuff, especially, I had great teachers. I had great people help me along the way with that. But the point is that I felt like I got little successes and failures and successes, and went on that roller coaster, so that when Schitt's Creek happened and then all the rest of the things came into play, I felt like, oh, I know what I'm doing now. I'm okay.
Yeah. You know what I think is fascinating about that too? I think to the fan public who aren't following the day-to-day Hollywood stuff, they look at somebody who all of a sudden has things, they go, oh, they just came out of nowhere. Like, you'll probably see an article that says, like, Emily Hampshire just came out of nowhere. It's like, came out of nowhere? Nah, been working, I think it's really funny, because it usually is. It's always like, nobody came out of nowhere.
Oh, yeah. Overnight success.
It's like, overnight. There's like there's like a 0.1% of the people that are like, oh, I got discovered, at a pizza place, and now I'm famous. But the rest of the people,
it's like, I got discovered at a pizza place.
What's that?
I wish I got discovered at a pizza place.
That's Natalie Portman's story, right?
Actually.
That was the one.
Which is funny, speaking of Natalie Portman, that it's interesting in this movie I'm going to be doing that Natalie Portman's
The Death
in.
and Life of John F. Donovan.
Yes.
Is it based on a real person?
No, it's not.
Just
it's
a name that sounds exactly
like a real person,
like,
right?
Well, he has a middle initial, so it must be a biography.
And must be a famous actor, because they all have middle initials. They all do, 3 names. But I am the only non-famous person in it. Like, everybody in that movie is not just
it's pretty A-list. It's pretty A-list.
It's pretty. I mean, it's so far. It's Natalie Portman, Kit Harington from Game of Thrones, Susan Sarandon, Kathy Bates. God, the list just goes on and on. And but what's amazing about that, in the context of what we were talking about, is my very dear friend Xavier Dolan is the director of that, and he wrote this part for me 4 years ago.
Wow. And he's like a child prodigy. For those who don't know him, right? I mean, do you call him a child prodigy up there?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to call him a child prodigy, like, tonight. I'm going to text him and say child prodigy. Yes, he's like 26 26
Right.
now. Did his first movie at
What was it,
19.
Yeah. What was it?
I
Like,
Killed My Mother.
Killed My Mother, yeah.
Went to Cannes. And I mean, he did the
Wonderkind.
Hello video for Adele.
Yeah.
She just
He
called
did?
him up, and
He did that?
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that.
so-
Did you see the SNL parody? That was one
Yes, it
of
was
the funniest.
brilliant,
That was
right?
one of the funniest.
But yeah, he's a genius.
Yeah.
And what is great about that is me and my other oldest friend, Jacob Tierney, who co-wrote this movie with Xavier. He's also a director in his own right, and we've done a lot of films together. And we had always said when we were doing films in Toronto that we want to get successful as a community, because we would always do movies together with our friends, and so it feels so great to be doing what I would consider, I mean, this would be my biggest movie to date, or biggest thing coming out, and to be able to do that with my friends is amazing.
Yeah, that's pretty cool when you're like, oh, the rap party with my friends that I've been friends with for
and that
decades.
you've struggled with, that you've like, it wasn't always easy, and to like enjoy success or not success, whatever happens, to know that those are the real people.
And I also think, having friends is important, for this journey, like in this business, who are going through the thing. Some people think, oh, I'm just going to isolate myself, and it's just not the right way, I think, to go about being in this industry. I don't think
you can people do that? I mean, yeah, if I look at my resume on IMDb, most of those projects link to each other because I worked on something and was hired again by that person and was hired. So yeah, it's all, to me, it's about relationships.
I wanted to ask you just something really funny to me. I just love that the awards there, it's the Golden Maple. That just cracks me up.
Well, the award that is an award. That's actually an award show for Canadians in America.
What is the Golden Maple?
So
what
the Golden Maple
is that the MTV Movie Award, or is that like SAG, or is that like
that would be more like the Britannia Awards or something, because that's an award for Canadians in America. But our awards there are called the Canadian Screen Awards, which I think they've just in this last one renamed the Candies because of John Candy. There was a running.
I love John Candy. I mean, I love all those guys, but I just thought it was so funny, like that it's called the Golden Maple. I was like, I wonder what like the American would it be like the American rifles.
Yeah, that'd be bad.
I don't know what our awards would be called, but so you actually won a Canadian Screen Award.
I did, and a Golden Maple.
And a Golden. No. Well, you won, right? And so you were nominated for 2 Golden Maples.
Yes.
Right? So
yes.
you won 1 Canadian Screen. So you have what does a Golden Maple look like?
It looks like a really heavy glass kind of paperweight with gold, like our
so
maple
I was picturing
leaf.
like a waffle with like maple syrup.
Oh my God,
poured
that'd be
over it,
so
something.
good. No, it's like the maple leaf, but that's actually better.
Yeah, there should be.
That's my childhood, like maple syrup.
Oh, you guys, what town are you?
I'm from Montreal.
Okay.
And so what we, like one of the things you do in Montreal.
Are you French? Is that?
No. I mean, I can speak French. Nobody wants to hear me speak French. It's terrible. But when you grow up in Montreal, you have to speak French. But my first language is English. It's hard to tell right now, but it is.
I was like, I'm detecting a twinge of something, but I don't know what it is.
But when you grow up in Montreal, first of all, I snowshoed to school. I did this when I was young.
You snowshoed to school?
I did that when I was
those
things because when you're a little kid, the snowbanks are really high, and so.
So you lived in a rural area, not in like the city.
No, I lived in the suburbs. Yeah, yeah. So rural. Yeah. But what we do in Montreal and in Quebec is you do this thing called sugaring off. And you go on this sleigh ride through the forest and collect maple syrup, and then they heat it up and you pour it on the snow, and then you take these popsicle sticks and you wind it up, and it's toffee, so it's like amazing. And then you get back on the sled and go to the sugar shack, which is where you get pancakes and more maple syrup.
Wow, this is crazy. This is just a thing that kids do?
It's just a thing that kids do.
Not like a
no, you do it with your
thing?
school. It's like around Christmas, and it's the greatest thing in the world.
That's kind of amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you can just dip things.
Yeah,
no,
it's
everywhere.
like crack.
You can make snow cones anywhere in Canada.
Yeah, you could. You just anywhere.
Yeah. That's so fascinating. And so what? So the Canadian. It's the Canadian Screen Awards.
Canadian Screen Awards, yeah.
And so what is that sort of like? Is that
so? That's like our Emmys and Oscars.
So that's a big deal.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah,
congratulations.
Thank you.
When was that? When was that award show?
That was recently. That was like last month.
Yeah. And I always wonder, you don't know if you're going to win until it actually happens,
right? No. You know what's awful that I realized, because it was my first time being at the Canadian Screen Awards. They set up the cameras on all the nominees. Each get a camera, and so
they're looking at your face, waiting for you to be pissed if you don't win. And
they announce the winner. If you're not the winner, the cameras go off.
Oh, they just shut off. That's so funny. So the whole time, and then it just like wraps.
And then it's just like done.
Oh, that's brutal.
I know, that's really bad. Thank God I won.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. Oh, did you have a speech prepared, or did you kind of like wing it? Like, what was that moment like?
Well, it's a lesson learned. I didn't have a speech prepared. I should have. Yeah. Because I didn't realize how kind of nervous through an emotional. I didn't get like I didn't cry or anything. Thank God. But when I went up, I looked out at this audience who I suddenly saw my like childhood flash before my eyes, because it was all these people that I have grown up with, like directors and producers who I've worked with, my agents, and my agents in Canada, very different from agents in America. My agent I've been with since I was a kid. I lived with her. She grew up. I'm still with her. Like, wow. It's very
it's just closer knit.
It's a little closer.
It's less of a business.
Yes. At least if you find somebody who is wonderful. And so it's looking at these people who taught me everything, and I just suddenly kind of lost I went blank, in the brain, and so I really regretted after. Like so many people I didn't thank,
right.
And I
well,
didn't.
Now you have an opportunity. If there's anybody you missed, right?
Thanks. Thanks. Now
you got the floor. I know that's always so funny. But then usually you see them, at least at the Emmys or the Oscars, you see them in the back room when they're doing the interviews.
Oh, that's what I did.
Because remember, Julia Roberts forgot to thank Erin Brockovich.
Oh my God! Yeah. Oh, that's bad. That makes me feel good, though. That makes me feel really good, because if Julia Roberts can do it, right? Yeah. No, I did that, and actually, the publicist for our show told me that I could do, because I was like crying after. I'm I forgot
just go
to
back.
thank.
This is the second chance. Right here. You've got one more shot at this, and everybody won't hate you. So that's so cool. But I wanted to get to Schitt's Creek, because I wanted to ask about working with, Eugene and Catherine, because and Chris Elliott. They're known for this universe of improvising and coming from that, world of, we write stuff, but it's loose and we kind of go with the flow. Is that how it's been in some of your scenes, or is it all scripted and you're sticking to the scripts?
It's, well, first of all, it is a scripted show. Right. It's not like what Eugene and Catherine
do with like Christopher
Guest movies. Yeah. It's not like that. However, because you have people like them who are geniuses with that, they, if you're inspired to do something, everybody's fine with some improv, and usually it does happen near the end of. We've done a few takes of it scripted, and you change things up a bit, but for the most part, the writing's so good and so tight that we don't feel the need to.
And it's much. Dan who's the writer?
Dan's the writer,
and Eugene, or just Dan?
Dan, and he has a writer's room and stuff, but Dan's primarily the showrunner and the everything down to
sort
the
of
wardrobe.
Your love interest-ish. Tell us about your tell us about that, for those who haven't yet checked out Schitt's Creek. Tell them a little bit about your
That's
your
actually
role
the thing I love the most about the show. My character in the show is that Dan and I have this friend relationship, I would call it, because he is what you explore during the show is you think he might be gay.
At first, I definitely was
you would definitely assume that.
Or just like Hollywood Metro.
Yes, exactly. But then him and my character Stevie end up sleeping together. And
then he kind of burns you.
And totally burns me. But what I love about it is that in life, not to the extent of what we do in the show, but in life, I have friendships like this with my either gay friends or like bi friends, and it's more than a romantic relationship, and it's more than just a friendship. It's this hybrid that, I mean, with my best friend, I've always thought, well, we're gonna get married and live together, and if he wants a kid, I'll like have one and he can have it and take care of it. It's just this weird, and he's gay. Right. He's totally not interested in me, and so I just love. So
you feel like you relate to this
I do, and I feel
lot.
What I love is that I've seen this in life with other people, and I've never seen it on screen before.
Yeah.
And I think that's what people are at least talk about a lot. I remember when I hadn't seen the show, I saw all this stuff on Twitter about Stevie and David's relationship, how people loved it, and I didn't really know what they were talking about because I'd shot the show but I hadn't seen it, and I didn't realize until I watched it what a lovely journey it is. Like, people should go, if you haven't seen Schitt's Creek, you should definitely go and watch it in Canada. It's on Netflix, and here it's on Pop. It's on Pop, but you can also stream the first season on like iTunes and Amazon, so you can see the first season and the second season. I just said seconds because she was thinking about sex with David.
But I wanted to ask, so you get a lot of good zingers, when you're sitting there. Do you ever come up with any of them? You know what I mean? Like, do you ever try and write some good zingers for them?
I never even would attempt to try and write anything. I think things come out in the moment, and it's because I am forcedly inspired by whatever David walks in the room with, like he's wearing some animal squirrel on his back. So things like that. But in 12 Monkeys, I get to Terry Matalas, the creator of the show, a lot of the time will let the camera keep rolling after the scene is over. And because I've been working since I was a kid, I was you be professional, you never stop until the director says cut. And so I feel like I have to keep going with things. And there's been a lot of stuff on 12 Monkeys that comes from that. And one of them is I'm doing this speech about bringing back the dodo bird, which is...
I remember that. That was like, I thought it was going to be like a Steve Jobs speech, and then it went off the rails real quick. And but what was weird was that people just started leaving, which I don't like. I was like, wow, I would want to stay and see what she's about to say.
Me too, right?
She's saying some crazy stuff, and you're just going to walk out and not hear the rest of it?
I agree. But he let that keep going, and it's actually on the DVD of the extras. And
first the dodo bird,
and next year the unicorn. And I thought at the time that was an extinct animal.
Isn't it?
I love you. Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Somebody's telling us it's not.
Exactly.
All right. Okay. Well, I'll have to go Google that and have it get.
So there's that, and then at least on the extras, it made me go on. I had it didn't make me, but
so what other things?
Other things were just I decided that Mark Ridge would become a record label, and I would be releasing my album.
That's great.
And I almost started to sing the song. Thank God I didn't, because I didn't know this would be on the DVD extras. I don't know. I was going to make it up on the spot. I was going to make up my new single.
The Mark. What would the Mark Ridge? Was it going to be about Mark Ridge? It was like, we're blowing this company up.
Yeah, something. Oh God, it would be a
crazy animal. It's got to be like a crazy animal song, So that's a Mark Ridge record label. That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
It had a bit of it was like, I was almost like, are they gonna be? At first, I was like, are they gonna be excited about her idea? For a second, I was like, are they on board with this? And then I was like, oh no, they think this is totally wacko. But then, weirdly, you weren't escorted out. Like, you're still sitting. You're still the CEO in the next scene. I was like, oh okay. I guess they weren't that.
Well, that's
mad.
what I love about Jennifer. Yeah. She just like, if you do something confidently and decide you're going to do it with your own logic.
Yeah, she's very. All right, I have to ask for you to give the fans of 12 Monkeys They Are Rabid, and they need some morsel, something. Give us something that won't spoil the season, but like just give us something.
Okay.
This is like their extra stuff.
Okay, what's really good is that we had before we started this, the PR people wanted to sit in here, and that's why I was like, no, they can't, because I always spoil things, and so now they have no control over whether I'm spoiling anything. But I'm not going to spoil anything. But it's just so. This next season is honestly, and this isn't because I'm on the show. This isn't because this is totally genuine. I have seen a bunch of it now, and obviously read the script. It is a brilliant season of television, and it will blow your mind. Like I highly suggest people go watch the first season on Hulu, and then to fully enjoy this season. But with my character, it's, well, first of all, first season I was just a recurring on the show. This season I'm a regular, so I definitely have a lot more to do, and I play myself at 65, right. And so we know that old Jennifer becomes this leader of this post-apocalyptic group of women called the Daughters. So we know she becomes this like wise older woman, and
which is amazing.
Which is amazing, back on where right?
She was.
And and a lot of the season is like seeing that journey of how crazy Jennifer becomes this person, and you will get to see at some point a sane Jennifer. And episode 211 is like the best thing I have ever gotten to do in my entire career, and I have ever seen on television that will happen.
I'm super stoked.
Yeah.
I mean, I love shows like this. I mean, it's just like when they just have these expansive, like,
and
Lost
it's this
type
huge
universes.
puzzle that you like get to put together, and but this season also, like we were talking about the time travel thing, what I love so much about it, when I watched it, they screened the last 2 episodes for us as like on a big screen, and it's like this epic movie, and the characters in it are so good. Like, I
don't know how Cole keeps track of where he is.
No, I know.
I mean,
no, right?
They're like, you're in 2015. Jump back to 2013.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, what? 2014?
But I love that they addressed that with the there's humor in the show. That this time machine isn't actually like
I love
the best.
That where he's like got sent to North Korea by accident for a minute, and I also like that little. I guess the writers' names are Peoples.
Oh yeah, well those are
and the name of the hospital is Peoples.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Terry does a lot of that in the show, where there's a lot of Easter eggs put in the show for people who really like know the movie and know. Like my wardrobe in the first episode was a replica of the Brad Pitt.
So I was going to ask about the Brad Pitt connection. First of all, have you ever
creaking my
chair?
You're
creaking. Your shit's creaking in the AfterBuzz studio. Have you ever met Brad Pitt? Have you ever had any convo with him or his people about this role?
Yeah, he called me when I got it, and he was giving me some advice. Yeah, no.
You know, Brad Pitt, he just picked up the phone, and he was like, hey, it's Brad Pitt. You were like, Brad who? Pitt?
I'm hoping he watches it. If I was Brad Pitt, I would too. I'd want to see, like...
Of course he would.
But,
So he called you up, just called you on the phone.
Just come. Yeah, he never calls me on my cell phone anymore.
Yeah. He's
that
like,
hotline
Angie, no, I want him over easy. You know what were you saying?
Yeah. But what was a bit daunting was that it's the Brad Pitt role that kind of made him, and those abs, and like no one can compete with that. But what I thought was pretty smart about what they did with the characters, they changed it to a woman, and so that I think took away the comparison in that way.
You have made this your own, I mean, in an amazing way, to the point where I was like, is this the Brad Pitt role? You know, it was like, totally...
I look at it as they share a similar DNA. Like, it's not the same character, but they are related in some way.
Yeah, so that's cool. And did he give you like any advice or anything? Was it just like, hey, good luck with this?
He didn't really call me.
Oh, that didn't happen?
No.
Damn it. Come on.
Sorry.
There's our fans here. He called you up and he said, you're going to do great.
Yeah.
He said, you're going to do great. You got this.
Yeah.
You got this.
Oh, but you know what is actually amazing, though, from the movie, that I believe this is out now. If it's not, I've really given a terrible spoiler. But Madeline Stowe comes and is in season 2.
She's going to be in your
12 Monkeys.
Oh my God, she was my huge crush when I was a teenager.
I mean, she would be your huge crush now. She still looks exactly the same. So she comes and does a kind of appearance on the show,
that's really cool.
and she's amazing. So that was really great to have from the movie.
Yeah, and the fans go absolutely bonkers when you do stuff like that. You know, like that's going to blow their mind. I mean, now that was like the spoiler that we wanted to give our.
If that was a spoiler, not a spoiler, I'm going to be fired.
No, that was the nugget. That was not a spoiler.
Okay,
that's like a nugget. That's
nugget,
like a good, no, the spoiler would be like, everybody dies at this moment in time. That's the.
Yeah, well, the thing with time travel, though, when you die, you could always you could go back in time.
I know, that's what I'm confused about. You can always just go back and go not kill yourself. And then, or maybe you can.
There is something that happens, and this is in episode 211, that someone dies and you can't go back.
Oh no!
And
there's always rules, right? There are some finite rules, even in time traveling universes, which I know,
which we don't understand, but there are the rules.
You know what I'm always amazed by in movies where there's an outbreak? The doctors are always very clumsy. I find they're always right. I mean, you'd think they'd be a little more. They're always cutting themselves, right? With like the Montalvo virus.
This is actually way funnier than you know, and this is going to be very bad. I hope Amanda Schull is watching this.
I mean,
Amanda, who plays Cassie on our show, is a doctor.
She's amazing.
One would think she's a great doctor.
Yeah,
but she had to do some doctoring, and it was one of the funniest days on set. To watch her. I broke out laughing because she was doing something to me, and it looked like, well, at first she was doing this, and Terry came and gave her a note about, because you couldn't even see what she was doing. The frame was like above here. But Terry came out and gave her a note to be a little more intense about something emotionally or something, and she chose to dig deeper into my stomach. And
this is what we call the procedure, the abdominal rub, the abdominal quick rub. The abdominal quick
And I mean, I think it's probably only funny to me now, but
really funny.
It's kind of a running joke on set that Cassie is the worst doctor, and but Amanda doesn't think she.
That's amazing. That's like, did you ever see Spies Like Us with Chevy Chase and Dan Aykroyd? So there's a scene where they're pretending to be doctors for like some sultan, and they have to save his life.
Oh, that's funny.
And they're like, you need to do an emergency appendectomy, and he's like up here, and the guy's like, no. He's like about to cut into the guy's
Oh my
chest.
God. Actually, the best on-set doctor story I think I have is I did this movie, David Cronenberg movie called Cosmopolis. And it was with Rob Pattinson, and we were in a limo together. Yeah. And Rob, during my scene, gets a prostate exam. Ooh, and we shot this scene on the first day of shooting. Me and Rob were already, what was great was Rob was nervous. Like, he's like, oh, it's David Cronenberg. And Dave, because we were in this limo, you would just hear David's voice as the voice of God coming in, like, again. But
another prostate exam. We didn't get it right.
But how he, Rob was like, so how do you want me to do this prostate exam? And David actually, he was like, well, I'm gonna just get down here, lean over, and he demonstrated how David Cronenberg showed me and Rob how he was gonna get a prostate exam.
Rob's young. He probably has never had one.
He hadn't.
Probably has had one already.
Yeah, which is good. Which is good. People should.
Right. You know, Rob was like, I don't know what I'm doing yet. I'm years away from my first, but it's good. You know, it's like now he'll be prepared.
Yeah.
When he actually eventually.
That's what I do like about acting. You get to do so much stuff that you never otherwise would have done, and then you're prepared for it.
Right. Like well, except for Cassie, who hasn't prepared to be a doctor.
No.
Just yet.
No.
I like her on Suits also. Actually,
I love Amanda Schull. Actually, you know what's really great about both these shows, Schitt's and 12 Monkeys, is the women on the shows are amazing. And that's it, and not just like acting wise, they're amazing, and then off screen too. It's rare, and it shouldn't be rare, but a lot of the time you have girls on shows get competitive and stuff, and it's just like they are the most supportive and wonderful actors. Like Annie Murphy, who's on Schitt's Creek, I think is brilliant on the show.
Really funny.
And Amanda Schull blows my mind this season 2. She's amazing. So to have that, and also I feel like on 12 Monkeys, the writing for the women is spectacular.
It's deep, it's rich, it's complex, it's not like stereotype.
No, and you have somebody
way.
like Jones Barbasukua, who has the coolest role, and you never see, well, you just don't see that many roles for women like that at that age to get to do the stuff. I keep wanting to say Schitt's Creek. Schitt's.
So that's cool. So you actually hang, like, you guys, the women on the outside of, you guys ever hang
I keep
outside
trying to get Annie Murphy to go on a date with me because I like think she's so pretty and I love her. But
she's rejected your overtures.
Yeah, no,
shot you down every
totally
time.
shot me down. But no, they tried to get me to hang. I don't leave my house much.
You're a homebody?
Yeah, I'm a homebody, but I adore them on set.
Yeah. What do you, are you a big TV person? Do you watch TV? Are you like a...
don't watch anything.
You don't watch... Are you a big reader?
I like reading, yes.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call myself a big reader. I'm a big documentary watcher, so I'll watch that. So not TV necessarily, but like I'm the first to see Making a Murderer, and I'm the first to see The Jinx, and like, well, maybe it's not documentaries, maybe it's like true crime.
True crime. Okay. And what do you think? Guilty or innocent?
Oh my God, it still keeps me up
tough.
at night because it's very tough.
I wrote a sketch that may or may not be on Comedy Central about that realm.
I may or may not want to Google that right now.
Yeah, it's not. It hasn't aired yet.
Oh, okay.
But we'll see.
But it's about that?
Yeah. We'll see.
Amazing.
We'll see. But so you like those true crime?
I love those.
I used to be a lawyer, so I'm like
really
obsessed. Yeah, totally obsessed. How
long were you a lawyer for?
I'm older than I look. Darn it.
And then you just switched careers?
Yeah. I mean, this is more fun.
What kind of lawyer were you?
A poor, bad one. An unethical, very unethical one. Because I wanted to do this stuff. I mean, it's so fun. I mean, that's the thing. It's like you live once, and you have to do the things that make you excited. But I was going to say about the true crime, I think what's so amazing about them is every episode it's like, oh, he's totally guilty, and then like a week later you're like, no, I was totally wrong, and then
I know, and that's brilliant storytelling too. Like,
but that's what I like about 12 Monkeys. It's like so many different directions every week. Yeah, and it's like also. I was going to say, what is the Cole, the actor?
Aaron Stanford.
Yeah, he was like, kid actor.
Oh, yeah.
And it's so funny to see him growing into like a man.
Yeah, and like captain of this ship of this show. He's so
amazing. Crazy to me
is
to like think back on him, him and his childhood.
Did you know him as a child?
No, I'm just watching. Boy Meets World. It was Boy Meets World where he was the
was
buddy.
He?
Yeah, I think so.
I didn't know that.
I think that was him.
Let's hope that's him.
I think that was him. It's got to be him. Yeah. We're looking him up right now.
He's been an actor. Stanford.
Yeah, we're looking him up.
I mean, he's great. Is that your phone?
Yeah, oh my God, what a jerk.
Who is it? Answer it.
No, we can't answer. We gotta look up Aaron Stanford. And when is the new season's coming out?
Yes. The new season of 12 Monkeys.
12 Monkeys is coming out April 18th.
April 18th,
I believe.
And what's great is it's on Hulu now, so you can binge watch the first season and then be ready for season 2, which will blow your mind. And what? I feel like you're ignoring me now.
No. Okay. I'm listening. I was trying to look up whether he was.
And that's going to be really bad if he's not in.
It looks like him. Who was it?
Who were you thinking of? Maybe you shouldn't say.
I don't know. Yeah, we'll have to figure out who I was thinking of. It doesn't matter. But he's a great actor.
He
I like
is
that guy.
amazing.
He's awesome. So that's April 18th.
April 18th.
And then Schitt's Creek.
And then Schitt's Creek is airing right now on Pop here. And it's also, you can stream the first season on, I believe, iTunes, Amazon. Yeah.
So, and then you have this film, The Death and Life of
John F. Donovan,
coming out. Do we know the premiere date for that?
No, we haven't even started shooting. I start in July. So I end Schitt's Creek, start shooting that, and that we shoot until November.
And I have to ask you, because AfterBuzz is very social, digital. How's your social media game?
Well, so I'm not good at Twitter. I'm on Twitter.
You're on it. You're not killing it on Twitter.
I'm on Twitter. You can find me on Twitter at Emily Hampshire _. That's how
Emily Hampshire _.
That's
how
how
you know you're
not
good
it.
I'm Matt Ritter
Twitter.
1. I know
Right?
that you're not good if you don't just
I have a check,
if you don't just have your name.
I
You're
know.
not killing it.
So I'm good at retweeting.
Okay.
But I love Instagram.
Okay. Are you killing it on the Instagram?
I feel like I'm killing it.
Is it food and beach stuff? What are we doing over there?
No, I mean,
Dog, kid. What do we got going on?
Do you know that Christmas movie with the elf who wants to be a dentist, and Bumble, the abominable snowman who goes to the island of misfits? And,
I don't know.
this is terrible. You don't know what that is. It's Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the Christmas story.
Oh, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Anyways,
it's pretty embarrassing that I don't really.
No, but if you don't know, like it's amazing. And there's this abominable snowman named Bumble.
Okay.
I have a Bumble. There is a hashtag Bumble. There's other people who have Bumbles, and basically he's a lot of my Instagram.
That's what most of it is. Okay.
Yeah. But then it's mostly also work stuff, like when I'm
on set.
and
hashtag set life.
I don't do that. But yeah, I should.
Humble brag. Hashtag set life.
Yeah, see?
Hashtag killing it.
Yeah, if I was good at it, I would be doing that. But I'm not. Like, I just enjoy it. And I'm on
fans
Facebook.
Love that stuff. Fans love shots from the set.
Well, as a fan of other things, when I'm interested in something, I love the real. Behind the scenes thing of it. Yeah. So I get why that would be
you should shoot more 12 Monkeys stuff. Just start taking pics, inside the time travel
But I mean, it should be 12 because my Schitt's Creek Instagram pictures are kind of funny because I come I have this one picture where I come in the morning of my Converse that I change into my character's Converse, and they're the exact same shoes. So it's basically just me and my hoodie changing into the exact same hoodie.
So that's your Schitt's Creek.
That's my Schitt's Creek life.
Yeah, and the other one. I mean, now it's like a Snapchat world. Are your people trying to encourage you to do that? I mean, are your handlers? Are they like, hey, you got to do this Snapchat thing?
No, the only thing that we were encouraged to do was Twitter. But my friends have tried to encourage me to do Snapchat, and I downloaded it. Yeah. So I've gone that far. It's like hard. Yellow.
I've tried to.
It's like that.
It's too hard. It's too much.
I don't get. I like Facebook.
You're busy.
I'm old school. Facebook to me is. I like that. It has all the things. Really, has it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Facebook.
So I'm on Facebook too.
Yeah.
And
I
do like that you get to have this immediate reaction from the fans and see what people think of stuff. That's something you never.
Yeah, it must be cool, right? Like, because when you're shooting, you don't know how it's going to be received, and then immediately you can go on Twitter. And people go, oh man!
I mean, it's cool when it's good.
Yeah.
But
you happen to be in two shows that are very well received right now. So
so it's nice now. But it's also, I think, informative, even when it is bad. Like, you don't have to take it personally, but you can take it as information of what people respond to or
they
don't.
Say, I mean, and I don't know how they do it on 12 Monkeys, but there's like these theories that on shows like this, the Lost-ish type shows, that they're actually listening to some of these.
Oh my God, yes, and I know this for sure that the creator will he'll read stuff and he's like, this is a good idea. This is like better than stuff I'm coming up with.
Crowdsourced, choose your own adventure.
Yeah, and fan fiction, I never knew that existed, and then I read some fan fiction. Wow.
Yeah, that's a huge thing now.
Yeah, they have Jennifer doing some interesting things.
Oh yeah, there's the erotic, the erotic fan fiction. Yes. Yeah, it's so funny how many different subcultures are there.
You can really go down a rabbit hole.
You can go into a weird place. Well, I mean, I think that's pretty much everything that we have for our fans. I feel like we've learned so much about you. Like,
am I going to watch this back and be like, oh my God, what did I say?
We know you're a sociopath.
Yeah, okay.
We learned that all of your friends think you're a sociopath.
Yeah. I like watching true crime sociopath
well, that makes
stuff.
Sense.
That makes sense.
I think that makes me a sociopath too. If you like that too much.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I get Robert Durst. I get that guy.
Anyways.
I get that. We also learned that kids in Canada snowshoe. Like, that's a real That's a real thing, and we learned that you should from now on, you reach that level that you should start writing your award speeches because you may be winning a few more.
Okay, I'll thank you.
Yeah. So thank you guys. Thanks, Emily Hampshire.
Thanks.
You can find her on Twitter at...
Twitter. What's my... Emily Hampshire _.
Yeah, Emily Hampshire.
And on
_
Instagram at M Hampshire, because there's another Emily Hampshire.
And go check out 12 Monkeys, April 18th on Sci-Fi, and Schitt's Creek on Pop, on iTunes, on Hulu, Amazon, we're everywhere, just everywhere.
Yeah.
So this has been an awesome episode of Spotlight On. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right.
This is fun.
Yeah.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
The views expressed herein are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.